You're watching Reality Check. India is at an inflection point in its battle with the coronavirus. The number of infections are slowly rising again, a 7% increase in weekly COVID cases, the first increase in 11 weeks. The number of states with a weekly increase in cases has jumped from 5 to 11. But our vaccination drive, the main weapon in our arsenal against the virus, is faltering. Today came the news that US vaccine maker Johnson & Johnson has abruptly pulled out of the emergency use approval it had sought for the vaccine in India. J&J later clarified in an email statement to Reuters that they were in ongoing discussions with the government and were exploring how best to accelerate their ability to deliver vaccines. There is as of yet no clarity on the status of India's negotiations with other major foreign vaccine makers like Pfizer and Moderna. But media reports citing an internal government document suggest Moderna will not reach India until 2022 because its orders were fully booked for this year. The vaccine crunch, partly a result of being solely dependent on Indian vaccine makers, is evident in the numbers. India is still vaccinating just about half its required rate. To hit the government's target of vaccinating the entire adult population by the end of this year, we needed to be doing about 1 crore lakh doses a day versus our current vaccination rate of about 47 lakh doses a day, which is just less than half. At the current rate, we'd only be able to vaccinate the entire adult population only by June of next year, around 6 months behind schedule. All right, joining us tonight on Reality Check, first and foremost, we have with us Dr. N.K. Arora, who's chairman of the National Task Force on Vaccines. Thank you very much, Arora Saab. Good to always have you on the show. Arora Saab, just first off, let me ask you, at a time when we are facing some challenges in being able to meet our vaccine targets, this somewhat sudden news of the exit of Johnson & Johnson, what do you think exactly happened here?
So, I think we need to understand the overall context. A couple of weeks ago, we also heard that Moderna is going to come any day.
Right.
And then we realized that, and it was about 7.5 million doses coming as donation through COVAX facility, WHO COVAX facility.
Right.
That also did not materialize. The whole issue is, and I'm part of the COVAX facility in WHO as well.
Sure.
And the overall issue is that US vaccine manufacturers, be it Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson, one of the requirements they have kept is what they called as paperwork, and it is indemnity and liability related clause which have to be fulfilled by recipient country.
Right.
And so India has been having discussions with them, which is still continuing. And we are also aware that Pfizer has been asked to submit application right from January onwards, but we have been hearing all kinds of things, but they have never submitted. And same is true that Johnson & Johnson had submitted, but they have withdrawn. And the primary, I think the issue is revolving around concerns
indemnity.
of, indemnity and liability.
I see. That's quite significant because we've all been confused about why it's taking so long for these vaccines to arrive. And you're saying essentially they expect an indemnity clause. Just to simplify this for our viewers, Dr. Arora, this is essentially them saying that if there's any adverse effect because of our vaccines in India, we are indemnified against any liability, legal action, compensation, and so on. So am I to understand it that we are not okay with giving such indemnity, and that's why, J&J and others are pulling out now?
So, Srinivas, we have to understand the overall global context which we are talking about.
Yes.
India is the largest vaccine manufacturer in the world.
Yes.
And our capacities outsmart any and every other country globally.
Yes.
We are a major supplier of vaccines to low and middle income countries.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and third thing, we also need to look at it that in last 2-3 months since we are talking about immunizing all adult population,
Yes.
we have not taken into account many of these imported vaccines. The amount we were being offered is also not a huge amount, but everything is welcome, but still it was...
Okay, that's interesting. Let me jump in for a second because our viewers need to understand what you're saying. Are you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that we have factored in for our vaccine requirements, whatever we need to vaccinate our entire adult population by the end of this year, without factoring in these so-called imported vaccines like J&J and Pfizer and Moderna?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
I see.
All we have estimated, whatever
Yes.
the supply line has been prepared, and what we are planning, it is based on vaccines manufactured in India.
I see. So that's because but hold on.
Became unclear from quite some time, and that is why that has not been taken into account.
And that's because of the indemnity issue, basically, largely.
That is one of the important issues. Yes.
Okay, so we don't want to. So I'm just asking you now, much more directly. So we are not comfortable with granting that indemnity because we consider ourselves to be a vaccine maker. So is that the short answer?
No, I cannot answer it in that way because I am not privy to the discussion part.
Okay.
But I do know that is one of the major hurdles in moving forward and arranging for vaccines through U.S. manufacturers.
I see. That's very significant that the indemnity clause is really what is turning out to be almost like a kind of deal breaker for these imported vaccines. But now let's come to what you said, Arora Saab, that you think, or at least India has projected, that we can meet our requirements with Indian made vaccines. But as I just put up the numbers, at the moment we are falling quite short. It's just about 50% of our targets. And one of the big mysteries in this has been particularly the shortfall of Covaxin. And I'd really like to get your help in shedding some light on what is going on with Covaxin. Because firstly, the projections for Covaxin are all over the place. Government has given 4 figures in one day from, an estimate of a monthly production from anywhere from 1 crore to 2.5 to 3, very confusing.
Yeah.
So what's going on with Bharat Biotech and Covaxin?
So we must understand that vaccine manufacturing is almost like rocket science as far as biomedical science is concerned. And there are a lot of uncertainty. And on screen what we are showing is absolutely correct, that we were expecting a much sharper rise in the production of Covaxin. We started a new facility in Bangalore. In addition, 3 public sector undertakings are also working together to work and augment the total output.
Right.
Ultimately, we are expecting anywhere between 10 to 12 crore doses from Bharat Biotech.
No, but by when?
Let me complete. So the Bangalore plant is one of the largest vaccine manufacturing plants globally. And but initial couple of batches did not pass the quality, the whatever issues. I mean, it did not pass it was not of the right quality. But the 3rd or 4th batch has now come up, and which has moved forward. So we hope that in the next 4 weeks or 6 weeks, the vaccine production will really ramp up from Bharat Biotech, because we must understand that Serum and Bharat Biotech are our 2 major suppliers.
Of course, they are our pillars. But what you're saying is very helpful, because there's been so much confusion about this. You're saying the big Bangalore plant of Bharat Biotech, which is supposed to be where the maximum there have been some issues with quality control, not fully up to satisfaction, and that's caused some delay.
Yes. So they have now reported that they have started production. They are in the second batch, first batch, which was clear for quality, and then now second batch. And now a very rapid ramping up of the manufacturing will go up.
Now, rapid ramping up is...
In the next few weeks, we will have an exponential increase in production from that side. That's what is expected.
Okay, that's what I want to understand, because with all respect, we've been hearing this for a long time.